You know, the location tagger in me says this would be very cool. So this is ruminating about a YouTube playlist approach for graduate degree attempts abroad. Today is Friday, 3 July 2026 AD, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, evaluate my YouTube playlist approach for when I studied abroad in South Africa in 2012 and ruminate about a YouTube playlist approach for graduate degree attempts, as in parentheses, abroad. So I'm a greenie in that I don't have any graduate degree of any kind currently, and so at attainment level, I'm in greenie territory. Greenie meaning fresh. I haven't done it, and I would be new to it, actually attaining the thing. And I was like, so I don't have, the key element here is the abroad component to invoke my playlist. And I was like, I studied abroad before. So this YouTube channel was founded in 2013 and I started uploading content in 2017 and it's now 2026. So my study abroad was before this YouTube channel came into existence. And so I was thinking, I did think about it back then, like if I would, because I wrote and published on a blog, like not a vlog, a blog, when I was abroad for the entire time, like throughout the entire time. And I have a bunch of playlists and so I was like, can I come up with like this is a bit of a YouTube channel recap / publishing recap, but like synthesis in the sense of like, what have I done that might actually apply and help me kind of get my bearings on how I might YouTube if I were to attempt graduate degrees abroad. And so I was like, I'm gonna break it down into the routine and the non-routine. So for and kind of try to explain the scope. The routine, so that would be my, quote, study abroad in South Africa in 2012, end quote, playlist. I'm quoting myself because I came up with that title for that playlist. And it is, so it's a term, I have some playlists on this channel are about where the video was filmed. And I chose to treat my time in Africa a little bit differently and put it all in a study abroad in South Africa in 2012 because I have video footage, or like even if just a vlog of pictures outside of South Africa. So I was like, instead of having kind of like one stray video in a playlist, which I have for Latin America, you know, a vlog, I was like, I'm gonna, this came before that playlist, right? I'm gonna put this in its own playlist because there was a lot. it was a 6-month student visa. There was a lot of stuff that I can talk about. And so I was like, I like that approach and kind of being like, so if I'm covering in like my journey on YouTube, then having a playlist that covers the routine. And so let's say 1 out of every 3 videos, and maybe on average, or I don't know, it's spitballing, right? Ends up being about it. It can go in that playlist whether I'm over abroad or not. Okay. And I might be abroad and doing something that's not related to like the study abroad, so then I can be like, as I grow in experience, be like, should I include it or not? What are the boundaries there? So kind of as I grow, since I'm over there in the first place for that, am I traveling to the country unrelated? It's summer break and I'm like back in, say, America, and I go and travel to the country, then I'm in the country, but it's not necessarily for study abroad, you know, or degree abroad might be the better. It's not study abroad then, it's degree abroad. Okay, so that's routine. The non-routine, so be example, my international travel with medical restrictions playlist. So I needed to get vaccinations and medications. Medication was no vaccination, but not vaccine, immunization because they didn't have a vaccine for malaria, so malaria pills, that kind of thing. For my study abroad in South Africa in 2012, and so I was like, so that's an example of something where the project, so let's say there were a pandemic, or the country did require certain immunization, be it at like when I start off, or it gets developed that kind of way, or maybe there's something over if I'm home base of in America, aside from the graduate degree attempt, you know, travel either way, medical restrictions enter the picture, or it's medical restrictions like my allergy flares up, or I do have to change my diet, or I do have to adjust kind of how I accommodate my ADHD in response to the international travel. All right, so some of the stuff, or my asthma, or my lactose intolerance. All right, so there's the like non-routine and kind of, this is a good one because I don't quite know what it would be, but it becomes relevant, and so then it's not a standalone playlist dedicated to the study abroad. However, the study abroad is, you know, becomes relevant for that project in a particular element. So that's kind of cool, I think. And so for the kind of taking it and making like a very centric or dedicated playlist to the graduate degree attempts, it might be something for the title, like, quote, graduate school in Greece, comma, space, year 1, end quote. This takes into account playlist size restrictions. So yes. And so and I'm quoting myself here, same was I came up with the titles for all of my playlists as they currently exist on this YouTube channel, for better or worse. You know, I've changed the name on some of them, so quoting myself. For the non-routine, my, quote, international travel with medical restrictions, end quote, playlist, because I'm quoting myself. So I have encountered size restrictions with YouTube stuff. So like graduate school can be a chunk of time, like years. Like in like a PhD, spitball might be like 7 to 12 for a healthy PhD. 5 is okay, but 3 is anemic, you know, the kind of thing. And it doesn't quite count as a PhD unless you hit at least 4.00 years, that kind of thing. So it's like taking into account how quickly I can hit playlist size requirements, which I have hit on playlists before. We do it per year, that way I don't max out every time. That's my own preference. Not to mention if I just add 2 or a number to the end of the playlist. In graduate school in Greece, year 1, if I just added 2 to the end, that kind of, it's not year 12, it's still year 1. So trying to be a little bit acting, entitling with a little bit of foresight. So ruminating anyway. So that's ruminating about a YouTube playlist approach for graduate degree attempts abroad.